Okay, let me start the case. Kate, president of Eagle Airline, a small airline operating in southeastern Australia, had been considering expanding his operation, and now the opportunity had arisen. An acquaintance had put him in the contact with a small airline selling an aeroplane. Eagle Airline owned and operated three twin-engine aircraft. With this equipment, Eagle provided both charter flights and scheduled commuter service between several cities in Eastern Australia: Melbourne, Sydney, Canberra, Adelaide, Hobart, and all the others. So basically, this company is doing two businesses: charter flights and scheduled flights. You know the charter flights, right? It's a private flight. You can book the airplane and you can tour any country where you want. Obviously, it is for the rich people. And we have to do the analysis for those rich people. Scheduled flights constituted approximately 60% of the Eagle flights. So out of total business, 60% belong to scheduled flights. Averaging about 2 hours of flying time and distance of some 700 kilometers. The remaining 40% of flights were chartered. Mixture of charter flights and short scheduled flights had proved profitable, and Keith felt that he had found a niche for the company. However, he thought there was potential for growth, especially in the area of charter flights, but this was impossible without more aircraft. Okay. So this aircraft, which is you can see in the picture, was for sale at rupees of 600,000 Australian dollars. This is the initial investment. This twin-engine aeroplane had been maintained according to the regulators and safety standards of the Civil Aviation Safety Authority, and the engines were in a good condition. One would easily get 5 years of normal use out of the aeroplane. So we can assume its life is 5 years. Furthermore, having been used by another small commercial charter service, this Piper contained all the navigation and communication equipment that Eagle required. Eagle is the name of the company. Piper is the name of the plane. In the aeroplane, there are seats for 10 passengers and the pilot plus room for baggage. The luggage. Typical cruise speed is 200 nautical miles per hour, 360 kilometers per hour. This is nothing relevant for us. Operating cost is approximately 1200 per hour, including fuel, maintenance, and pilot salary. Annual fixed costs, including insurance, were estimated at 160,000. Based on his experience at Eagle, Keith knew that he could arrange charter for around 900 per hour. 900 is the price for charter. 900 is a ticket price, kind of a ticket price that anyone who will obtain your plane for charter, you will charge $1,900 per hour, or charter at a range of approximately $240 per person per hour on a scheduled flights. If you want to run your plane on scheduled flights, you will charge $240 per plane. Okay. He expected on average that scheduled flights would be 60% full. He hoped to be able to fly the airplane for up to 1,000 hours per year. Kate would fund the purchase using the cash surplus of Eagle Airline, and the tax relief was available for the depreciation over 5 years. Profit resulting from the operation of the airplane would be taxed at an annual rate of 33%, and after tax discount rate was 15%. Okay. Leave the remaining part. If I ask you a question, can you solve this? Can you analyze this? Yes. It would be a yes case. Okay. So this is the solution. Just look at this. Just look at this part. The yellow highlight. Charter price is 1,900. Passenger rate is 240. Passenger rate means the scheduled flight passenger. The scheduled flight passenger. Occupancy is 60%. who will sit, 60% will be the occupancy rate. Assume it is given in the question. Just assume. Okay. Number of hours are 800. Just assume. Number of hours are 800. By the way, it was 1000. 1000. Proportion of scheduled flights. 60% data for the scheduled flights. And operating cost was 1200, right? Assuming this data is given, guys. So what I have done, I have calculated the charter flights revenue. I have calculated the scheduled flights revenue. Then I have deducted the operating cost, deducting the fixed cost, depreciation, tax, add back the depreciation, investment, calculated the NPV. Right? Am I missing anything? The text, the question which you have seen on the screen, I have solved all in the Excel. NPV is 125,000. Okay. So what are your thoughts? Should we buy this plane? Should we buy this plane? There's 60% occupancy is given. 1000 hours are given. 60% occupancy, 1000 hours. Scheduled flights. Okay. Should we buy this plane? Anyone, please tell me your thoughts. Obviously, you will be answering based on your knowledge. Answer would be yes. You will write that we should buy the plane because NPV is positive and it is directly increasing the wealth of shareholder. So we will buy this plane. Okay. Now let's jump in. Let me change it. Okay, let's jump in. Let's read the remaining part. Keith realized that many of the numbers that he was using were estimates. So in our exam, numbers would be estimates. Actually, there seemed to be a lot of uncertainty in most of the assumptions he made about his business. And he realized that these uncertainties may have a significant impact on the decision whether or not to purchase the new airplane. He therefore decided to investigate this a little further. Okay. So this is exactly an AFM question, FM question, or you can say that a practical question. All of these data on which we have calculated a positive NPV, all of these are estimates. Just the NPV is positive. That doesn't mean the plane is good. Why, sir? Because these figures are estimates. Okay, let's read further. Although the new airplane would certainly be operational for 5 more years, there was a chance that it could be used for 1 or 2 years more. However, given his past experience, Keith was not willing to take this risk and would only consider buying the Piper if it could be profitable within 5 years. Okay. And let's read further. In the past, scheduled flights accounted for 60% of the Eagle flights. However, Keith believed that this might very well change. Although 60% was still his best estimate of the future situation, the proportion may decrease to 40% or increase to 70%. So in the past, scheduled flights accounted for 60%. So scheduled flight is like 60% of the total, but it could be decreased to 40%. It could increase to 70% scheduled flights. Operating costs were fairly easy to predict, although they may vary a little. It estimate that this best guess of 1200 could be wrong by 50 in either direction. Like operating cost could be 1250 or 1150. Tickets and charter prices were partly under Kate control, but were highly influenced by the competitors' move. The charter price were under especially high competitive pressure, resulting in Kate more or less matching the prices set by his major competitors. This resulted in a charter price in a range of between 1600 to 2200 per hour. We have taken 1900, but charter price can be 2200, can be 1600. Kate had slightly more control over the ticket price per hour, which would probably have to be around $240 and $300. Up to from 200 to $300. Okay. According to the case, a delicate point was the occupancy of the scheduled flights, which was currently 60%, and Keith saw no reason why they would change. However, he had experienced some variability in the load factor expected there to be in the future. He therefore took into account that load factor may turn out to be different and range from high of 70 and low of 50%. So load factor means occupancy ratio. Occupancy can be 50, can be 70. However, the airplane load factor would be in part depend on the actual ticket price. A related issue was the total number of flight hours. Keith hoped to be able to fly the airplane for 1,000 hours, but realized that 800 might be more realistic. The total number of flight hours depend mainly on the state of economy. If things got really bad, 700 hours per year was a remote possibility. Keith was wondering how he should assess the profit resulting from the purchase of the airplane, incorporate all of the uncertainties involved in this year. Two questions kept coming up in his mind. Is the Piper worth buying? What are the major risks involved? So guys, this is quite interesting. We can't decide on the basis of single answer. What we have to do, based on all the information, I will make a scenario analysis. Worst, average, and best. So worst case is ticket price, charter price will be 1600. Best price, charter price will be 2200. Worst case, passenger ticket price is 200. Best case, 300. Worst case, operating cost will be 1250. Best case, 1150. Occupancy 70% best case. Worst case, 50%. So now, let me do the analysis. Based on worst case, NPV is will you accept based on worst case? Please tell me the answer quickly. You don't have to do an exam. Just try to learn the basic thing here. No. Will you buy the plane now on the average case? No. Best case. Will you buy the plane now? Obviously, yes. So what do you think? Which case will happen? Worst, average, or best? So it depends. Come on, it depends, guys. How can you say that every case will happen? How can you say? Life is uncertain. You can't say that average will happen. You can't say that worst is happen. You can't say that best is happen. It depends. Any of the case can happen. Life is uncertain. Any of the case happen. So based on the information which is available, based on the calculation which I have showed you, will you buy the plane? Okay. One thing. Let's suppose I haven't showed you this highlighted part. Only this was available. Let's suppose only this part was available, only this part, which we normally do. So our first learning, it is always difficult, it is always risky to take decision on the single outcome, on the single NPV. What we have done? We have done the scenario analysis. This is called the scenario analysis. Did you get it? This is called the scenario analysis. Best, worst, and average. Okay. So number one thing, scenario analysis has increased our decision-making power. We have made 3 scenarios and it has increased our decision-making power. Scenario analysis is better compared to the single outcome, right? Agree? Guys, agree? Okay. Let me add one more thing. So this is the same question solved in a different way. Let's quickly look at the here. Purchase price, number of seats, remaining life, fixed cost. So this is scenario analysis. This is scenario analysis. So in pessimistic case, worst case, 936 negative answer. Base case, 64 negative answer. Optimistic, 1.4 million positive answer. So still it is better, scenario analysis is better compared to the single outcome. Right? Okay. एक learning होगी. This is your first learning. Now, there is another topic called sensitivity analysis. Let's suppose you want to do sensitivity of ticket price. So what is the ticket price? 240. What is the NPV? Yes. So let's suppose you want to assess it. Sensitivity of the ticket price. If ticket price is 250, if ticket price is 260, if ticket price is 270, if ticket price is 230, if ticket price is 220, you want to assess it. So in Excel, this is a what if analysis called ticket. So let's do the sensitivity analysis of ticket price. Ticket price is 240. So I'm making different cases, 240, 250, 260, 270, 230, and 220. So let's suppose the ticket price is 240. And at that case, NPV is 64,000. So what you will do, you will select all this, go to what if analysis, data table, and input the column. So on the column is ticket price, select this ticket price. Okay. If the ticket price is 250, you are almost at break even. If ticket price is 260, 64,000 positive NPV. If ticket price is 270, 129,000 positive NPV. If ticket price is 230, minus 129,000 NPV. If ticket price is 220, 194 like 1,000 negative NPV. And let's suppose we want to calculate the sensitivity of number of hours. Number of hours are currently 800. For example, if you want to move to 700, 600, 500, 1,000, 1,200. So these are not in dollars. So if 800 NPV 64,000. So select all. Data table. Data. What if analysis? Uh, column. Column is number of hours. Length with number of hours. Okay. अगर 700 घंटे हो गए, number of hours are 700, NPV will be 160. If number of hours are 500, NPV will be 350. If number of hours are 1000, remember 125,000. 1200, 316,000. So you are doing the sensitivity analysis of ticket price, number of hours. You can do the sensitivity of everything: charter price, proportion, load factor, operating cost. You can also do the sensitivity of load factor. Like currently it is 60% occupancy. What is the NPV? If 70% occupancy, what is the NPV? If the 50% NPV, what is the 50% load factor? What would be the NPV? So this sensitivity will increase your decision making power. It will give you the idea that how much variable will change and how much it will create the impact on the NP. So what you have learned, sensitivity will give you sensitivity will help you in decision making. Sensitivity will guide you the which factor is critical, which factor is not. Like look at the ticket price, guys. If ticket price is 240, NPV is negative. If ticket price is 250, only the change of $10 will give you the break-even position. If you move to the ticket price to the $260, your product, your case will be profitable case. So NPV, sensitivity will help you, will guide you, like it will identify the critical factor. Okay. Got it? Right? Okay. Have you ever heard about the simulation? Monte Carlo simulation? आपने simulation का word सुना है? Okay. The biggest problem of sensitivity is the pro of sensitivity is it is easy to apply and easy to understand. It helps in decision making process. The biggest problem, the cons of sensitivity, it does not consider interdependent factors. It does not consider the interrelation of different variables. So for example, if you increase the ticket price, occupancy will fall. Am I right, guys? If you increase the ticket price, occupancy will fall, right? So it does not consider that. Plus, it does not consider probability of the events. What is probability? The chances of occurrence. It does not consider the probability. It will guide you that if you reduce the ticket price, NPV will be negative. It will guide you, but it will not guide you that what is the probability of decreasing in the ticket price. So there is another factor that is called the simulation. So let me apply the simulation. It is not in your course. So that's why I'm quickly apply the formula. on the Excel. So load factor is between 50% to 70%. So guys, what I have done, I have applied the different formulas. So what I will do, I will run the simulation. Look at the magic here. So these are the inputs: load factor, proportion, ticket price, charter, operating flights. Whenever you are applying the Monte Carlo simulation, firstly, you will have to give the inputs to the computer. So one input is load factor, second is proportion, third is ticket price, charter, hours flown, operating cost. So I have given all the inputs to the computer. Second step. Whenever you are applying the Monte Carlo simulation, state the interrelation between two variables. So I am assuming there is a relation between load factor and ticket price. And there is a direct relation. Sorry, there is an indirect relation. If you increase the ticket price, load factor will fall. If you decrease the ticket price, load factor will increase. Am I right, guys? There's the indirect relation between two variables. So what I have done, I have included the risk correlation between these two factors. So try to digest this. Number one, I'm going to apply the Monte Carlo simulation. What Monte Carlo simulation will do, you have to state all the inputs to the computer. So I have stated all the inputs. This blue are all the inputs. Number two, state the relationship between the inputs. So I am assuming only one relation between two inputs, ticket price and load factor. And I am assuming the indirect relation. Okay. Okay. What? Then computer will ask, what do you want? We want NPV from the computer. We want NPV from the software. So we have declared this NPV as the output. So what you will go do, you will go to the computer and you will write the iteration. So this iteration is, let's suppose we have selected this 10,000. This the computer will run 10,000 times. It will run 10,000 times. It will calculate NPV 10,000 times and will give you the result. So, and this is the simulation button. We will click it. Just look at the magic. Can you see it is running iteration 3,000, 3,600, 38, 4,000, 4,200. Just look at the number. Okay, perfect. This is our result. Okay, just look at it here. Mean get average. Mean is the average. We call it expected value. Expected value is 37,000. Expected value is 37,000. So that means expected value of NPV is 37,000. Maximum this project can generate NPV of 921,000. Minimum this can generate NPV of 647,000 negative. But do not look at the average answer. Expected value is also misleading. Why this expected value is misleading, sir? If you do this project for 10,000 times, then the average NPV will be 37,000. Guys, remember this. But the beauty of this Monte Carlo simulation is it will give you this. There is 45.4% chance that NPV will be 0 or less than 0. On the x-axis, this is the NPV. If you can see, this is NPV, values in million. Okay. So there is 45.4% chance that NPV will be 0 or below 0. There is 54.6% chance that NPV will be positive. So what do you learn from the simulation? What do you learn from the simulation? This is important here. This was from sensitivity. This is from the Monte Carlo simulation. Pros. It considers interrelations between different variables. Interdependent factors of different variables. What else? It considers different variables at a single time. At one time. It helps in decision making. What are the cons? Difficult to understand, difficult to apply and understand. By the way, it is easy to understand but difficult to apply. Problem. Output depends upon input. So maybe you have got garbage in, garbage out. If your inputs are not good, your output will also be not good. So here, how to take the decision? The major question is how to take the decision. How to take the decision. Guys, expected value is 37,000. There is 45.4% chance that NPV will be negative. Now, please tell me, will you buy this plane? Will you buy this plane now? Okay. Now, after doing the simulation, it is more clear that we should not buy this plane because it is extremely risky, because approximately 45.4% chance that you will not make it. Your NPV will be negative. You will be in a loss-making transaction. It's very risky. So we will explain that we are not going to accept the project. This is your learning, guys. Identify the main uncertainties. Single value forecast always wrong. Do not give any idea of the risk involved. Dangerous to base decision on them. Okay. Number one, analysis. There is a term called stress testing. Make different cases, optimistic, most likely, pessimistic. This is called stress testing or scenario analysis. It will give you range of result, which is still better than the single value forecast. Sensitivity analysis, what if analysis, still better than the single value forecast. Monte Carlo give you the best decision. It will help you to evaluate different possible outcomes. Okay. So whenever you are doing the NPV, although all of this discussion is not in our course, we do not have to do anything on the Excel, to be honest, like this. So what you have to do, whenever you are solving any question, you have to give the result. Always state in the exam that it is always wrong to rely on a single value forecast. We should apply sensitivity analysis. We should apply stress testing or scenario analysis in order to enhance our decision making. And if possible, we should apply Monte Carlo simulation to test the range of inputs, plus to incorporate the interrelation between range of inputs to have a better result. Got it? So one of the student asked me today, sir, what we will do in the discussion of investment appraisal question. So guys, always, whenever you are taking any decision, investment appraisal, corporate restructuring, risk management, always state that do not base your decision on a single value forecast. We have to consider the sensitivity